Hi everyone, Shelly Bozarth here with Keller Williams Revolution. I hope everyone is doing well, staying safe, staying inside. I decided to put together a little coffee talk session to answer some of the questions I've been getting. I've been getting tons of questions about what's going on in real estate, what's going on in general in our community, how I'm doing. Thank you so much for those of you who've reached out to me. It warms my heart and makes me feel awesome. So I hope everyone is doing well. So grab a cup of coffee and put it on pause, grab your coffee and sit back, and hopefully this will be a distraction, if nothing else, for you for the next few minutes. I'm going to talk a little bit about real estate, share a few tips on what we're doing as a family to stay busy and sane through all of this, and last but not least, share a couple of my favorite recipes, so stay tuned. First off, I fully realize that there is a ton of uncertainty in the world right now, and not everyone is sitting at home, sipping their cup of coffee, actively working, and getting paid still. Some people are actually facing homelessness, or they're actually already homeless. I've seen this firsthand. It's happening more and more every day right here in my little community. So I'm keeping these folks in my prayers, helping out as much as I can, and I would just kindly ask that you do the same if you know of anybody. Please ask them to reach out to PATH. Their number is 309-827-4005. They're available at any hour of the day or night. There's also McLean County Center for Human Services. They're at 309-827-5351. And these folks are there to help. So if you know someone that is in need, please pass along this information. There's also a Facebook page which was just created this week. It's called We Are In This Together, Bloomington Normal. If you need help, you know someone who does, or if you want to help, please join this page with us. We would love people it's nice to see people reaching out and helping those folks that are in need. There are people right now that are displaced, living in hotels, and can't even pay the hotel bills. So if you want to pitch in, please join this page. That would be fabulous. Also, there are lots of people asking me, there are homes selling every day. What is going on? How is this even happening? So this leads me to my first topic of conversation. What is going on in the real estate world? Well, the governor of Illinois has considered us an essential industry in our economy. Showings and new listing sales are still happening every single day. Some people are shaking their heads, I know, right now. I would be too. If I wasn't in the middle of this industry, I would be saying, what on earth is the rush? I get it. What really makes us so essential? But let me try to explain a little bit. A coworker of mine had 12 houses to show just in one day this week. Another agent said she had 4 houses to list in the same day. All of these were due to different situations, but desperate buyers and sellers. What makes people so desperate? Well, there are homes right now being sold more than listings taken. So some days we're just seeing tons of homes being sold. So that tells us that buyers are out looking right now. And when demand exceeds inventory, this typically drives prices up. So what makes people so desperate? I've been on the front lines of this business for 14 years now, so I know firsthand that buying and selling is generally a 30 to 60-day process. There were already buyers and sellers in the pipeline who had contracts in place before any of this started. Those contracts need to be honored because there are so many people relying on that transaction. People are moving out of state for various reasons, taking care of family members, a new job. Some have given notice to their landlord if they were renting. That landlord already had another tenant lined up. So there's a domino effect that goes on, and these people have to find a home. Some sellers actually sold before all of this happened, and they have to find a home now or they're going to be homeless because the closing's coming up. Marriages and divorces were already in process. Those things generally do not halt regardless of the situation. There are some folks I know that their parents were moving their parents into nursing homes, and those families have to sell homes because they can't afford to take care of their parents' mortgage, and they have to have those funds to pay the nursing home. Believe it or not, I even heard of someone that got a promotion this week. So there's good things happening, but also some desperate, sad situations that are happening many, many examples in extremely desperate situations that make us an essential industry. Which leads me to the next question. A lot of you are asking, is this a good time to list? Actually, I'm going to tell you no. Not unless you are in one of these desperate situations. If you are, yeah, we have systems in place that we can help you try to stay safe. I recommend that your house is vacant. My number one priority is your safety. So I would say if your home is vacant, yes. Is it in show-ready condition? If that answer is yes, then go ahead and list. There are photographers who are willing to do professional photos. I can also host virtual open houses. Some people are buying a home right now with virtual showings without even stepping foot inside the house. So as a seller, you have the right to say that. I want to list my house, but I don't want you to walk in. So there are some buyers that will actually honor that for you. And there are people buying, just for that, in that situation alone. So due to low inventory, the chances of you selling is excellent if you are priced right. Being priced right is still a crucial factor in the selling process. I can't stress that enough. So my job is to keep you safe, have your needs should be number one in my book. So please don't list unless you absolutely have to. But for those who must and you can't move out, I would suggest actually keeping all the interior doors open so that nobody has to touch anything. Turn on all the lights. Expect them all to be open and lights on when you return. Request that nobody touch anything. So people are just literally walking around. We can provide masks, rubber gloves, only for those people in desperate situations. So in summary, be safe and use precautions. My next topic is how can I prepare my home if I'm going to list later on this summer. So there are some of you who, you don't want to list right now, of course, but I do want to later. So what can I do to prepare? Number one is clean. I can't tell you how many of my buyers that I have shown houses to that will pick a clean house over a dirty house, even though the clean house might be a little bit smaller. Clean house will trump the dirty house every single day. There's nothing I can recommend more than a spotless, clean home. Baseboards, cobwebs gone, not a speck of dirt. More in this environment, this selling environment than any other time. It still is important, no matter what. So if you were not going to think of a hotel. If you're going to walk into a hotel and that hotel room is not squeaky clean, are you going to want to sleep there? That's exactly how buyers think of your home. I use the hotel analogy all the time when I'm talking to sellers. If your home is not that clean, it needs to be. So number one, clean. Number two, declutter your closets. Put them in boxes. Put large things in the garage. I would rather see a garage full of boxes and clutter than the house inside. So if you can't order a pod right now or don't want to, fine, get stuff in the garage. Just clear things out. Number three, paint. There's some really good paint colors they're my go-to grays that I have right now that I'm recommending. Number one is with Sherwin-Williams. They actually have curbside service. Right now that's all they're doing. I just got their email today. And you can tell them the color you want, how much you want, and they will bring it to the curb and you can go home and paint. So you want to wipe down the gallons of paint, anything they give you still, with disinfecting wipes. You don't want to touch something that someone else has touched. But I do recommend Repose Gray with Sherwin-Williams. That's my go-to. A neutral, on the warm side a little bit, a Repose Gray. And then Lowe's has a great Silver Dollar Gray. These are my two favorite neutral colors for interior walls and such. I also have a few interior designers that I can recommend to you that they will give you some other great neutral colors that you can just say, this is the color I want, and Sherwin-Williams will bring it out to the curb for you. I can also show you slideshows, examples of each of these colors if you want to see some actual homes that I have sold rather quickly with these two colors. Lastly, I would say landscape. Rake, pull weeds, clean up branches. Please do not trim flowering bushes. My husband wanted to do that the other day. He was like, how about this bush? Can I trim this one? No, you will kill the buds. So leave the flowering bushes alone. We want to, that's my lilac bush. So no, leave my lilac bush alone. But send your husband out with the hedge clippers, send the kids out, follow along behind him to clean it up, and take it to the curb. Have yourself a little bath, a little spa time, a little read your book, a little time with everybody outside. If you need names of contractors for exterior work, I can send those to you too. I know some great contractors who are still doing jobs outside, power washing, painting, landscaping, things like that need to be done. The next question I've been getting a ton of, I've reached out to a few of you to just remind you to refinance now. If you're not going to list, if you're not moving, you just maybe moved just in the last year or 2 or 3 years, and you're going to stay put for a while, call your loan officer. They'll do some virtual loan applications. They could do a FaceTime call with you to walk you through it. I can get you some names of those loan officers too. Last I checked yesterday, the 30-year rate was around 3.5%. The 15-year rate was around 2.75%. Ask them about a modification versus a total refinance. There are definitely lots of different options with refinancing, but definitely reach out to your loan officer and find out about that. What else? What are we doing differently as a family? Cohabitation, I've always said, it is the toughest thing to do, no matter who you are, whether you're just roommates in college or living together, married couple, kids, siblings. It's hard enough already. This is making it harder. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So what are we doing to cope, to make it a little bit easier? We're having a little more together time. We're playing Monopoly. My daughter actually came up and said, "Can we play Monopoly?" She's never wanted to do that before. She's 11 and a half. She has watched it on some YouTube videos, so she kind of knew a little bit about how to play. But she is learning how to manage money, how to buy and sell property. She beat us twice already. So be prepared to get beat if you do break out the Monopoly game. So, but it's a great educational and a fun way to connect with the family. The second thing we're doing is we came across this new, I don't know if it's new or not, but we came across a series on the Discovery Channel. We're watching it on Hulu. It's called Expedition Unknown. It's hosted by Josh Gates, and there's all kinds of topics, lots of episodes. We're learning about the Vikings and how they lived back in the old days. We're learning about ancient mummy hunts back over in Egypt. We're learning about the Bermuda Triangle and different adventures that people have been on, close calls, and I might be a nerd, but I have found this very, very interesting, and my daughter's learning a lot. It's educational too, so 2 for 1. Another great series I love, and my daughter loves it, is Anne with an E. It's another one of our favorites. It's on Netflix. It's based on the classic novel Anne of Green Gables. So if none of you have read the book, first of all, you need to read the book. It's one of my favorite books of all time, and this series is based on that. It's not exactly, it doesn't exactly follow the book, but it's really good, and the actors and actresses are very good too. My daughter is doing some word searches. She's never really done those at home before, but she was doing them at school, so she missed that. So we went to Barnes & Noble before the shelter in place, and we bought the word search book and a big puzzle. So she's been working on a Thomas Kincaid puzzle that is actually very difficult. But it's keeping our minds functioning, keeping us distracted. These things really help. Maybe it didn't sound so fun before, but it's actually a nice little reprieve right now. She's reading books. She's doing video chats with friends, staying connected with her friends on Kids Messenger. It's a great app that you can kind of monitor who they're seeing and who they're talking to and such. I love it. And me personally, I am listening to an audiobook called The Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates. It's a fabulous book. She talks about how her and Bill Gates got together and how their relationship has evolved and their new philanthropy project that they're both involved in now. Also, I just started reading this new paperback called What Alice Forgot. It's by Leanne Moriarty, and it's great. She's a great author. It is, I can't put it down. It's a great book. I can't say enough about it. But look on Goodreads. Use Overdrive. That's a free tool that the Bloomington Public Library has. You can download books, ebooks, and audiobooks for free. So try those. We're also I'm doing a lot more cooking. I love to cook, but I haven't really had a lot of time in the last few years, 10 years, 11 years. So I'll do a little more cooking. I'm doing meditating, I'm praying, I'm journaling. Got my journal here that I've been writing in a little bit each day, not a ton, but just to kind of, I think that later on it's going to be nice to look back and see how we coped. This is a historical situation that we have now, and years down the road, you might wish that you had written down a few words of wisdom, how you coped, what you were feeling. Have your kids write, what they did for the day too. It really calms me down whenever I write. I kind of have to force myself to do it, but I feel better after I journal. So I highly recommend that. Drinking warm drinks, we're doing a lot of that. That's helping keep some of the bacteria at bay. And we're walking 10 to 20 minutes a day too, keeping our distance, and not taking long walks, but actually getting out and moving around a little. Talking to friends as much as possible on the phone, texting. If you do nothing else at all, I highly recommend you talk to people, FaceTime friends and family. When I start to feel panicky or anxious, I find myself just grabbing my phone. I am a people person. I have to have that connection. So yes, I like my alone time too, but I have to reach out to people. That's why I'm in this job. I love to talk to people. So this helps immensely for me. I think it would help you too. It's a great time to get caught up with old friends, family members that you don't normally have the time to chat with. If you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? When are you going to have time? So personally, I think it helps. I actually heard someone say today on our Zoom call that we had in our office that it would be a real shame if we go through all of this and this whole ordeal together and actually nothing changes in our lives. This is a time for us to make some changes that are positive, find out where maybe our time wasters are, and maybe instill some new productive habits into our lives. And connecting with people is a natural human need, so I highly recommend we do that. I truly believe this is God's way of telling us to slow down, connect with people. Don't wait for them to reach out to you. Reach out to them first. I promise it will make you feel so much better. It has me. So back to cooking. It's one of my favorite all-time pastimes to do anyway, but I have a couple of recipes I want to share with you. The number one recipe that is popular around here is my homemade smoothies. Everybody seems to love them. All of my daughter's friends come over. They ask for Mama Shelly's homemade smoothies. Some of them want banana, some of them want strawberries, but every single time they come over, they ask for my smoothies. So very simple to make. I'm going to show you real quick. It's healthy. It's easy to make. Get out your blender, and you, first of all, use some frozen strawberries. I keep these in the freezer. You can use fresh too, but they tend to go bad, so I don't like to see things get wasted. So I keep these. I use about 4 or 5 frozen strawberries, or you can use 1 banana. You can use a third a cup of blueberries, a third of a cup of raspberries, mangoes, or whatever your favorite fruit is. And then I actually use this, my favorite Greek yogurt is this honey yogurt. I get both of these from Aldi's, the strawberries and the yogurt. I use about a third of a cup. You can use a little more, a little less, however big you want your smoothie to be per serving. But there's more protein in the Greek yogurt than the regular, so I use this. And then my secret ingredient that makes it extra special, that not everyone knows this, but I'm going to share it today, is the Dailies Pina Colada Mix. It's non-alcoholic, and you don't need a ton of it. It's a sweetener, so you add 2 to 4 tablespoons if you want it sweet. If you don't, just use the fruit and the yogurt. And if you use fresh fruit, by the way, you need to add a couple of ice cubes just to make it cold and icy. But make sure if you send your husband to the store, make sure he writes down Dailies and not Baileys, like my husband did yesterday. I looked at his list. I'm like, no, we don't need Baileys for the smoothies. We want to only use the Dailies. So make sure you write that down. That's essential, I think, to my smoothie. And then the second recipe I want to tell you about is my homemade chicken noodle soup. I get a 2-for-1 meal out of this. I just go to Sam's and I get a rotisserie chicken. They're $4.99 at Sam's. And the first meal is I just carve off all the chicken, put that on a platter, and just serve it with frozen corn with butter and salt, mashed potatoes, buns, sliced carrots, a salad. It's a great meal, very filling. You can add some buns, biscuits with it if you want. But then once I'm done with that chicken, after I'm done carving it, I don't throw it away. I put it immediately into a big kettle, and then I fill it almost to the top with just water. And then I literally, it's that easy. I just turn on the burner, I let it simmer for 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes a little longer. And then I just pour it, the broth, I ladle out the broth sometimes just into mason jars so I can keep the broth for later for other recipes. And then some of the broth I put in a pot, add some noodles, and sometimes I add celery, carrots, and then salt and pepper, and then I have chicken noodle soup. It's literally 2 meals in very, very, very short amount of time. So if you need details on that, let me know. I can help you out with that too. Text me if you need help. Stay tuned next week for my barbecue pork recipe. I'll have some more recipes next week. But in closing, I hope you and your family are doing well, staying safe, most importantly, staying inside, staying healthy, and connecting with people. Don't forget to connect. If you have any questions about any of this, I welcome your calls, text, emails. Please reach out to me. It's my favorite part of the day. Trust me. You can reach me at 309-275-7598, or you can email me at shellybozarth@hotmail.com. I plan on having another coffee talk session soon, and with another update, so stay tuned for that. If you missed this on Facebook, I will post this on my YouTube channel, Shelly B Dream Home, so you can pass that on to your friends and family. Until next week, stay safe. I miss you guys, and I hope to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.